Our teams here in Philadelphia, the Eagles, the Sixers, the Phillies, the Flyers too, they're at a crossroads. Crossroads on who they are, what they want to be, and where they want to go, and how they want to get there. That was pretty deep for me. We're going to talk about these crossroads and where our team should go, which direction at the fork they should take. We're going to do some epic shit today. Trending in the AM, we're live in 30 seconds. And a very good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trending in the AM right here on the STT Sports Network. We're live on YouTube and Twitter. Please, wherever you're watching, whatever you're doing, hit that like button. I'd greatly appreciate it. Subscribe to the STT Sports Network YouTube channel and share this out on one of your social media platforms. It's free to do. It's free to support a content creator. It's free to show some love to your man Phil right here. Even if you're watching this on replay, please do that stuff, and please drop your comments live or on replay. That's what we do here. We take your opinions into account on all things that are happening in Philadelphia sports. So make sure you're subscribing, you're sharing, you're liking, but you're also comment and vote on today's poll question of the day. Should the Sixers make a trade, or at least consider making a trade for the legendary Giannis Antetokounmpo? Who seems to be available from the Milwaukee Bucks right now. And that kind of leads into my crossroads conversation. So we're going to get into that. Excuse me here. A couple comments really quickly from Duck and Little G. Good morning. We got to get into this Eagles-Chargers game. I know it's not till Monday, so we kind of slow that process down on talking about it this week. Why not? Can we get rid of Embiid as part of the trade, which makes it all the better? Well, the Embiid part of it is interesting, but it wouldn't be Embiid that you'd be putting in the trade. You'd be putting Paul George in the trade. We're going to get into the details on why it would or would not work, but good morning to you as well. The region has been at a crossroads for the better part of a decade now. That is true. That is true. We still consider ourselves very blue-collar, but our economy, oh my, you're getting real serious at the crossroads right now. Yes, we hit 902 last night. Not too shabby. 98 more to go to the 1,000, the magical number. But anyway, crossroads. Sports crossroads. Not politically crossroads. Sports crossroads. Where are we as a city? The Eagles are at a crossroads on who they should be. Are they going to roll over and let 23 happen again? Are they going to buck up and solve their problems and get back on track? The Phillies. Who do they want to be this offseason? What kind of team do they want to build, right? And then the Sixers. The Sixers actually, in theory, have the assets to make a trade for Giannis Antetokounmpo. Yet, I'm not doing it. I would not part with what it would take to bring Giannis to this city. And I can't believe I'm saying it, because we're at a crossroads with the Sixers. And that crossroads is, are you turning the keys over to Tyrese Maxey or not? And I am. I'm not turning them over to Giannis. I'm not. Hell no, we shouldn't trade for Giannis. I am not giving up any of our young guys for that old, crumbling, overrated slasher. Well, I think overrated, it's a bit much. I mean, he's a multi-time MVP, a champion. He's arguably one of the greatest players of all time. But no, I am not giving up. Because a trade for Giannis, in my humble opinion, it's going to cost you Paul George for the contract. It's going to cost you Jarrett McCain or VJ Edgecombe. And it's going to cost you 2 first-round picks. We already don't have this upcoming year's first. So then you're giving up. So you have no 26. So you're giving up 27 and 29. So which means over the next 4 years, you got one young asset. No, not doing it. Not doing it. for a guy that you could lose after next year for 1.5 years. Not doing it. Rumors Dean went out. They are completely false. I think I would have heard if there was rumors that Nakobe Dean wants out. He does not. Patullo says line was crossed. Yes, Patullo said the line was crossed because a line was crossed, okay? Egging a person's house, attacking where his family lives. Yes, that is a line crossed. Nakobe Dean doesn't want. There's no rumor of Nakobe Dean wanting out of Philly. Of course a line was done. You don't go after a family. You can cuss and scream and boo all you want at players and coaches and celebrities, but when you cross a line, you cross a line. Sirianni copes in Hard Knocks. We had this same tailspin twice before. He's not an MVP right now. I don't care. And he's averaging over 30 points. Again, look, I'm not arguing with you. I don't want him. I just think the reason why we both don't want Giannis might be different. Flyers win. Phil crosses 900. Look, all good things are happening right now, right? Good morning, Adam. How you doing? No Giannis from him either. I love that I'm not getting instantly crushed on the no to Giannis idea. It's the same argument with Nolan Arenado. I wanted Arenado a couple years ago, but now it's a bit late in the career for that. He's getting up there in age. He's definitely declined. Bills own the Eagles. They didn't sign Darius Slay. Did not sign him. You claimed him off of waivers. There's a huge difference because if it was just a free agent battle, the Darius Slay would have come to the Phillies or Philadelphia Eagles. You guys were one spot ahead of us in the waiver wire, and you got Darius Slay. So the Darius Slay return to Philly, it's not happening. What you think of Slay going to the Bills? It sucks. Whether he was having a good season or not, I was 100% on board with bringing him back, at the very least for depth for the secondary. It's a shame. I knew they were going to put a claim in. I knew Detroit probably was going to. Buffalo surprised me. But good for them. Hopefully Buffalo gets the good version of Darius Slay. Positive mental attitude. I always have a positive mental attitude. Sometimes you guys try to break me down, but I'm always positive. Flyers getting defensive reinforcement soon. Great game for the Flyers last night. Another big win. They just keep playing and moving forward and winning. Honestly, I'm surprised we would want a boomer cornerback when Trey White is 5 years younger. I don't know anything that goes on in Buffalo, honestly. I hope they don't figure out how to use him. Actually, screw that. Flyers winning the cup, calling it right now. They are definitely not winning the cup. But they are going to surprise us and maintain this season. Yeah, I wish he was coming back. It's just not happening. We need to continue to build the young stars we have now. We can't afford to keep wasting time on guys past their peak. Absolutely agree with you. And that is kind of where my mind is with this Giannis, right? Do you really want more of the same with the Sixers? We're trying to move on from Paul George. We're trying to move on from Joel Embiid. We're trying to turn the keys over to Tyrese Maxey, build this young guard core. We got these nice new athletic wings in Barlow and Watford and all these other guys. And you want to derail all that for Giannis, who, in theory, only has the rest of this year, next year on his contract. Give it up 2 more picks, 3 picks if you count the young player you're giving up. And I don't think it's necessary. And I don't think it's the right move. It's a crossroads. Do you want to go all in and try to get Maxey and Giannis to win a title? Or do you want to keep building? To me, I just keep building. Who are 26 free agents? Dean is a free agent, but I don't care about 26 free agency yet. I don't know who's a free agent. Oh, just because your team stinks and you're thinking about the offseason doesn't mean I will. You'll see, Phil. You'll see. What will I say? What's with Slay refusing to play for Buffalo? Did he say he refused to play for Buffalo? I did not see that. Did not see anything that Darius Slay refused. Darius Slay did want to come back to Philly, but I didn't see Darius Slay say he was refusing. Did Slay say he was refused? I have not seen that. Watford has zero defensive awareness except maybe at point of attack. I still like the new look that the Sixers have built. The new angle that they're taking on building a team. They all have their deficiencies. No, you're not allowed to live. Did you see LeBron video where they had a play for him and he was talking with the Suns bench? What? Where they had? No, I don't even know what you're talking about there. I don't really pay attention to much of what's going on. I got enough shit to deal with in my own Philadelphia city of sports. I don't pay attention to every bleeping thing that LeBron James does. Like, I just don't. No clue what LeBron does on a daily basis. Phil says Flyers can't win the cup, but is talking nonsense about getting. No, I'm trying to shut down the nonsense about Giannis first and foremost. I'm just saying it's a big reach to say Flyers winning the cup. That's all I'm saying. That'd be a big reach for this young team. I would love to see the Flyers make a run to the cup. I think it would be exciting. There's a new fan base out there. There's a lot of people in Philadelphia that don't know what it's like when the Flyers are the toast of the town. It's been so long since the Flyers have been good. I don't think this city even remembers how crazy this city gets when the Flyers are winning. Yes, there's a lot of fair-weather Flyer fans, and I'm one of them. I admit that at this point. I just don't think they're ready yet for that. I just don't think they're there yet. I haven't had this much fun watching the Sixers in years. And it's because we put no expectations on them. We know they're not winning a title. And honestly, I think if the Sixers go out, and the point of this Giannis trade conversation isn't necessarily Giannis. Look, Giannis wants out of Milwaukee. He should have left already, but now he does for sure. Most likely he is going to go to the Knicks. That seems the most likely destination for him. It's very unlikely he would come to Philly. But the point of this conversation is there's this new direction with the Sixers, right? But you still got Daryl Morey helming the team. And when Daryl Morey sees a superstar trade available, Daryl Morey just can't help himself. Daryl Morey loves to make those big, bold, crazy out of left field moves. And I think it would set this franchise back a decade if they went for another big, bold move of any kind. I don't know who else is even available in a trade. If there is any superstar like Giannis that's going to become available. The problem is what they are now, what they're building to. Paul George, if he keeps playing his role, whatever. Joe Embiid, when he plays, when he doesn't, whatever. But this team built around the young core of guards with guys that can run, the guys that want to hustle. That's what the NBA is about now. And the Sixers are building towards that right now. Slay, I haven't heard anything that he won't report. Slay's not that kind of guy. Looking like Flyers did well in the 23 draft. Yeah, absolutely have. We're not worried about free agency, right? Sixers, the young players, give me a nice feel for the future of this team. But if you go for a big, bold swing, you're going to have to move on from some of those young players. 74-75 last time Flyers won. Yeah, well, I just meant like won like even a little bit. When was the last time they even went to the cup? You know, that's even long enough. Knicks emptied the cupboard for Bridges already. Some reason, somehow, they have the assets. I saw a couple people yesterday, like NBA reporters talking about what they could offer. Karl Anthony Towns, one. Either OG or Bridges as two. And then they have picks, future picks. I think some of them are like 2030 or 2031, but I've heard it. Good morning, Suzanne. How you doing this great morning? Slay want to play. He's the guy you're going to have to take him away from the game on a shield. Yeah, look. Again, it breaks my heart that we are stuck with Darius or with Adoree Jackson and Jacorian Bennett and whoever else they try to throw out there cornerback too, a.k.a. Adoree Jackson. I know Darius Slay has not been good this year, but Darius Slay would have been welcomed back here with open arms. He really would have been. And it's a shame that Buffalo had to snipe him from us because that's what they did. From all reports, they were one pick ahead of us in the waiver wire, and it sucks. It really, really does. That was the last time the Flyers were even remotely good, too, in 2010. I wasn't sure if it was 2008, 10. I knew it was somewhere right around there. That Blackhawk series. That was an epic playoff run there, too. There's a whole fan base of Flyers fans that don't know what it's like when the Flyers are good. How we really sucked this offseason. Look, I've talked about it. Here we go with the crossroads road again today. Howie Roseman's at a crossroads. He's got to figure out what he did wrong that put us in this position where we're scrambling. This entire season has been about scrambling to fix the offensive line, scrambling to fix the secondary, scrambling to fix the pass rush, scrambling to figure out what's wrong on offense. This entire Eagles season has been about scrambling. And I don't think enough talk is made of that. Flyers were bad in 11 and 12. Yeah, they really fell off quickly. Slay will play 3 series and pull a hammy. Yeah, I mean, that's part of what you get with Darius Slay. In and out of the lineup. I don't know if he's dealt with that this year, but he definitely did last year. Love Slay and CJ here. Slay wants back to Philly. CJ is just a kid throwing a tantrum. Slay wants back. Chauncey would, if Howie's like, yo, do you want to come back? He would come back like that. Chauncey loves to throw temper tantrums, but Chauncey also knows he's best suited when he's playing here. Man, all congested today. No one can be perfect forever. I mean, I can be perfect forever. I am perfect forever. The problem is we can't fix this issue bringing anyone because the deadline has come and gone. Oh, with football, yeah. I mean, all you get is waiver wire guys that are cut, and they're cut for a reason. So that's why we are stuck now. What you see is what you're pretty much getting the rest of the year. There isn't any addition sitting out there that's going to make it. Even Darius Slay wasn't going to make a drastic difference. It is what it is. We are where we are. What you think they're going to do to fix the offense? I say bring in Frank Reich. Look, I don't know what they're going to do with the offense, but this is the crossroads of all crossroads. Are the Eagles going to let this spiral like 23? Is this going to be the Seattle week where we lose our third in a row like in 23? Is this going to be the week where the wheels completely fall off? And I don't know. They seem content with Kevin Patullo. I think from Nick Sirianni speaking the other day, maybe there is a chance a change is coming, and he's just keeping it close to his vest. I mean, he said no, he wasn't making a change. And then 3 days later, he changed Sean Desai to, Matt Patricia. So maybe there is a change coming. What that change would be, I don't know. Frank Reich, you should bring him in as a consultant. You did that with Fangio in 22. It worked out. He should already be here. He's not. It is what it is. But they seem to have this faith in Frank or in Vic Fan or in Kevin Patullo, and I don't know. I don't know what's the deal. This is in 4 weeks, 3 weeks. This is 12 games worth of pretty inconsistent offense. The crossroads is, does Nick Sirianni go to the left and do exactly what Doug Peterson did and lose his job because he goes down with the ship with his guy? Or does he go to the right and say, a change is needed? Let's make that change. I don't know. I think we learn a lot on Monday, and that is for sure. It doesn't seem like too long ago we were talking about how Howie was terrible at drafting. Howie was bad at drafting early in his career. He got much better at it. He learned from his mistakes. Problem is now, his most recent draft class, not one of them played a single snap on Friday in the Black Friday game. Not one. Now, Vic Fangio did speak about how it was on him that Jahad Campbell didn't play, that he should have found a way to get Jahad Campbell on the field, and he admitted that was a mistake. But he also said with Jahad Campbell and the way the Bears run the football, it was a better matchup than Nakobe Dean. Not that Nakobe Dean helped. Dude, it's not. I do need an air purifier, but I think I get it. I get like this in the morning. I think it's my bedroom's really dry. I got to get something up in my bedroom. Fireplace running down the living room goes right upstairs. I really need something, man. My sinuses have been brutal lately. If you start to see players not constantly looking at each other on offense, you will know at least some issues have been solved. If you start to see players not looking at each other, yeah, there's a lot of pointing fingers on offense. And I don't mean like blame pointing fingers. Like, where were you supposed to be? A lot of communication issues. And I talked about communication issues as a big thing in training camp and all over. And there's definitely a communication issue. And I don't know what it is. Whether it takes Kevin Patullo too long to call him plays, whether the terminology is too confusing, or they're just not practicing well. And I'm not sure which one of those it could be. Too many my bad moments. Absolutely. And that's practice and communication, right? That's the effort you put in on the field, off the field, during the week, at practice. No, I know noobs means on the field. On the field in practice. Those my bad moments should be solved and worked out during practice. If these my bad moments happen once in a rare blue moon, all right. But they're happening every week, every game, multiple times a game. And that comes back on how you practice, how you prepare during the week. Maybe Patullo isn't that smart enough to call plays. Maybe he's not. I mean, he was talking in his press conference yesterday while he spoke about the egging and stuff. He spoke about other stuff. And he was asked why, or if he should maybe go to the booth like Vic Fangio to call the offense. Right? Maybe you should go to the booth. There's reports that maybe that would make things better for you. And he said, I haven't been in the booth since 2011, maybe even before that. Think about that. Kevin Patullo isn't some new guy in the NFL. Kevin Patullo's been in the NFL for 15, 16, 17 years as a coach. And this is his first chance he's gotten to call plays. Why? Maybe he's just not good enough for that. Maybe the Nepo conversation is accurate. Maybe he only got the job because of his boy Nick Sirianni. And that's fine. But it's on Nick Sirianni to back him off. It's on Nick Sirianni to be like, yo, it's just not working. It's on Nick Sirianni to hold him accountable. We're holding Nick Sirianni accountable. He's got to be held accountable. Some of this really is the schedule. Every loss was really a tougher spot than most of the wins. Look, I don't want to make excuses. The Eagles have stunk this year versus our expectations of what they should have done. But we said it when it was released. We said it before the season started. We did our predictions. And we've been saying it all year. The schedule has been absolutely brutal. The teams we've played, in the order we've played it, or them, and just the way it's been written out. I mean, think about it. No back-to-back games, right? At home. We're the first ever Friday night game. We've got a 5 o'clock Saturday game coming up. Thursday night game. Like, I mean, our schedule's been literally all over the place. We had 2 Thursday games this year, actually. Right? We had the kickoff game and the in-season Thursday game. So 2 Thursday, a Friday, and a Saturday game. Plus multiple Monday night games. Just think about how difficult that schedule is for teams to get on a schedule. His attitude is like someone who's shit don't think it or is made and can't be touched. Yeah, I mean, he does have this air, this confidence, which to an extent, do you want your coach, do you want your boss standing up there saying, I don't know what to do, guys? Or do you want him to at least pretend to be confident? Fake it till he makes it, kind of. I mean, I fake it every day till I make it here with you guys. I don't know what I'm doing. Maybe that's what Patullo wants to have a different attitude, but can't because he's got to show confidence. It has been more about the spot for this team rather than the strength of the opponent. Yeah, I mean, I get that as well. I get that as well. I mean, the strength of the opponent is a part of it as well. But the schedule has been absolutely daunting. And we knew this from the get-go. If they do make the playoffs, it might feel like a relief. It might. I mean, the fact that we have to say if they make the playoffs is pretty insane to me at this point. It's pretty insane to me that we even have to consider that the playoffs might not be a factor this year, or might not be in play this year. Like that thought hasn't even crossed my mind yet for the Eagles. I'm still 100% in belief that this team wins at least one or two more games and makes it to the playoffs. But it's just making the playoffs good enough anymore for the Eagles. Like the Flyers making the playoffs, that would be a win. The Sixers making the playoffs would be a win. The Phillies, we need them to get a little past just making the playoffs. But the Eagles, we knew it was going to be a hard year, but we still had expectations to at least have a chance to get back to the Super Bowl. And right now, we're just talking about making the playoffs. It's crazy. You could say many negative things about this team, but you can't say that they're not battle-tested. I mean, absolutely. The Eagles are 100% battle-tested. They're taking their punches. They're taking their licks. They really are. 10-7 may not be good enough. I think 10-7 might be good enough to win the division, honestly. Let me look at something here real quick. I got to see what the Cowboys' schedule is. 10-7 would mean 2 more wins for the Eagles, right? The Cowboys are sitting at 6-5, so they'd have to win 4 more games, right, to beat us. They got the Lions, the Vikings, so they got the Giants on the road. That'll be a win. The Commanders, that's a win. That's 2. They got the Lions and the Chargers, 2 very difficult games. Lions tonight, actually. And the Vikings, man, they might be able to win 4 games. Most likely, the Cowboys at best will be 9-6-1 or 9-7-1. I'm going to say 9-7-1 for the Cowboys. So yeah, they 2 wins should get it done. Eagles not getting to NFC not getting to the championship game is a disappointment. Absolutely. All right, here we go. Jonathan, to the poll question today: Sixers should trade for Giannis. Morey traded for Harden and Paul George, so try for the better player. And I like how the Flyers look. Eagles can't win 1 or 2 more, or they will be out and lose the division. Well, they got to win 2 more at least. We just figured that out. I am on the opposite side of you. Well, first off, yes, Flyers look great. I do not want the Sixers trading for Giannis. But my fear is Morey sees the big name and will take a chance at that, okay? They will, because that's who he is. I'm not taking that risk on Giannis here in Philly. I'm not. Playoffs, you talking playoffs? Playoffs? Yeah, we're talking playoffs. Hell, we have missed the playoffs. We have. Not saying that 10-7 is a lock for one of the best records. I'm just saying all that's got to do is be better than the Cowboys. And the Cowboys would have to go 4-1. It's tough. Cowboys would have to go 4-1 for 10-7 not to work for us. Dallas can run the table, beat Lions and Chargers. They run the table. Yeah, it's tough to run. I think the Dallas Cowboys lose tonight against the Lions. I hope. Maybe that's a little biased thought process. Lions haven't played that great anyway. But I got to hope and think that the Lions can win. Going to be a huge Lions fans tonight, for sure. I think the issue with the Cowboys is they blow it to an easier team. Yeah, that too. Dak's also got to stay healthy. Those wide receivers got to not blow their tops. Lions have not been playing very well at all lately. No. I mean, I think they take away a Jamar Gibbs, and their team's been playing like trash. They lost Sam Laporta for the year. Terry and Arnold out for the year now. Whoever the strength and conditioning coaches are in Detroit need to be fired because that team has taken so many injuries over the last 2 years. It's crazy. It's crazy to think how bad the injuries have been for that team over the last couple of years. It really, really is. Anyway, 10-7 can definitely do it. 10-7 is not enough. I want them to do better than that. Yeah, the game is in Detroit, so that helps them as well. Let me pull it up here. What's the line? Lines are 3-point favorites. Yeah, I think it's a fair line. Which team missed the playoff with 12-4 record like 5-6 years ago? I don't remember. But I'm not worried about a wild card spot for the Eagles. It's winning the division that I think gets them into the playoffs. Dallas solved their weak middle issue. Mozzie Smith was a total bust and kills lots of trust. Yeah, look, Dallas had a strong in-season pivots. Howie's still been scrambling in season. I get that. Imagine if Dallas win division. It's Packers and Dallas NFC Championship game. Mike and first Jerry to get to the bowl. I would want that game to end in a tie. No team to win. I don't even know how I'd feel about that. Never, but I think the Broncos missed with 11 wins a few times. Yeah, I mean, different times. Some of these numbers about missing the playoffs with not 10, 11 wins, you're talking the 6 playoff teams, not 7. And most of the time, that means it's a wild card that they miss out on. I'm just talking about the Eagles getting to the playoffs. All they got to do is win the division and stay ahead of the Cowboys. And all they got to do is win 2 games, and they most likely do. 3 wins, and they definitely do. And the Eagles have 3 very winnable games left. They got 2 Commanders games, and they've got the Raiders. They're going to beat the Raiders. No doubt in my mind. Now it's the rest of it. Can they split the Commanders and get one other win? Eagles have to win division, or it's no playoffs unless Niners or Seattle. Yeah, no, exactly. That's all I'm talking about. So 10 wins get you in as long as it wins the division. It was the Pats over 15 years ago. Yeah, the Tom Brady year when he tore his ACL and Matt Castle? Was that his name? Came in and won like 10 games that year for them, and they missed the playoffs because of the wild card. I forget who won that division that year, but it was what it was. Yeah, I don't remember. We have to win this week. Definitely a must win. This is I said this yesterday. It is must win. It really is must win for the Eagles. If you really think about it. You do have some easy games coming up. But you got a very fragile team and a very fragile fan base right now. A win in LA against a good Chargers team would do so much for the confidence of this team, this organization, this franchise, this fan base. I mean, they're not givens. I mean, they're not a good football team, the Commanders. The Commodes are banged up and injured. Their season's over. How much effort are they going to give? Not the way we are playing it, isn't it? It's not a given. Hell, the Raiders isn't a given. They were 10-6, I think, that year, yeah. How does a trade for Giannis look? How do they want an exchange? Well, based off of what I think, mister, that other teams can offer for Giannis and what the Bucks would want, okay? You're going to have to give up Paul George 100%, okay? Paul George, 100% is in it, okay? Either Edgecombe or McCain, and then 2 first-round picks. And mind you, we already don't have 26's first-round pick. So that means now you can't give up back-to-back picks in the same trade, so you would trade 27 and 29. So you'd have no 26, 27, or 29 first-round pick, and you'd lose out on McCain or Edgecombe. They'd probably want Edgecombe, But that would be the deal. And that, I don't even know if that's enough. You might have to throw something else in there. And I'm not doing it. Yes, I want to move on from Paul George. Yes, I want to move on from Joel Embiid. But I want to move on from them. I don't want another 33-year-old guy that you got to give another 5-year, $300 million extension to play till he's 38. I'm refreshing this organization, not continuing on with the same old, same old. But if that offer was asked of Daryl Morey, I fully believe Daryl Morey would say yes, and it would frustrate the hell out of me. It's a bit much, but that's what it'll take. Eagles will split with Washington and might lose to Raiders. Not a guaranteed win versus Raiders. Wait, Eagles are. I think hopefully the Eagles get themselves right. For sure. Good morning, Rob. How you doing? The truth is the Eagles want to win this year, but they're not dying to win this year. You would think the plan is to load up for next season with all the draft capital they have. That's an interesting way. The Eagles want to win, but they're not dying to win. I mean, we've said a few times how Howie Roseman had a bad offseason. But before this season started, we said Howie Roseman's offseason was going to be based around setting up the 26 offseason because of money that was going to have to be given out and draft assets. So maybe the Eagles knew from the get-go that this year was going to be a little bit more difficult to build a winning roster. I think it's an interesting thought process right there. I think it's a very interesting one, Rob. Do we not have 12 likes? Come on, guys. Like, subscribe, share. Come on, do something for me. What's up, Bruce? Good morning. I don't want Giannis. He's becoming very injury-prone. I don't think he's actually injured right now. I just don't think he wants to play for the Bucks. But yes, he's getting older. His body's going to start breaking down. I'm exactly what he says right here. Ride or die with the trio. Absolutely. That is the way you win in the NBA now. Young athletic guards, you build from within, you draft well. I want nothing to do with Giannis. And I feel crazy saying I don't want one of the greats of all time, but no, I'm not. You feel we should try for Giannis. And the thing is, you make that big, bold move. I don't think a team has ever acquired an MVP caliber player like Giannis in the middle of a season and won a championship. Okay? Next year is the last year of his contract. So you're basically trading everything for one chance at a title with Giannis. And that's not enough for me. The Eagles may not be dying to win this year. I get that. And so I don't think the players aren't giving 100%. I think the players are. I think the organization might not have given might have been conservative in the way they've built out the season, knowing that it was going to be tough this year. The players are still giving 100%. I feel we could trade Embiid and VJ. Embiid would not be in the trade. I would do that trade in a heartbeat. If you're talking Embiid, VJ, even a draft pick, done. No problem. Anything. I love Joel Embiid, but to get rid of him, I would do that in a heartbeat. But the Bucks want back a player that can actually play. And Paul George plays, now that he's healthy, more than Joel. The track record is that you would have to give up Paul George, not Joel. Cowboys versus Lions tonight. No one is safe. Let's go Lions. Can't see how the Bucks would want. Bucks would not want Joel. Nobody will want Joel. The only way Joel is not playing for the Sixers anymore is if he takes an injury retirement settlement. I don't know how that works in the NBA, but I think there's something to that. Eagles are still a game up on. They are. The person in the front office that identified Adoree Jackson as a good fit needs to be kicked in the nuts. Again, Adoree Jackson has been good this year. He has not been as bad as people think. Sixers just need to be patient and keep drafting well, build it out the old school way. That's what I'm doing. And we already don't have a first-round pick this year in 26. Well, it's top 4 protected with Oklahoma City. We kept our pick last year, getting VJ, so it deferred to this year. So Oklahoma City Thunder get it unless it's top 4, which it won't be. The Sixers are 11-9 right now. They're not going to be in the bottom 4. Edgecombe is untouchable. Like Maxey, I would consider McCain, and I think we have the Clippers let first. Yes, we do have the Clippers first. And it's going to be a great first-round pick because the Clippers are in complete and total meltdown mode. All right? So I've got the list of picks that we got here. We have a 27 first, our own, In 28, we've got the Clippers first. And 29, we have our first. It's pick swap rights with the Clippers. And then 2030. So we don't have 26, and that's it. Eagles versus Chargers will be epic. I hope. Maury has ruined his career by star hunting. Exactly. And that's why I think it could happen. Because Maury sees the stars and the lights are the brightest. I got to swing for the fences. Problem is, every time he swings for the fences, he fucks it up. I didn't realize that he has 2.5 years left on his deal, but the last year of his deal is a player option. And as long as he's still relatively healthy, that last year on his deal that's an option is only like $60 million. He will tear that up in a heartbeat, and someone will give him $60 million a year over five. Like, so he will so easily, pass on that player option that it's basically next year and that's it. I'm not talking about the players. I just think Roseman was realistic. And we kind of hinted at this in the offseason, before the season, that some of his moves were being made because he knew what this upcoming offseason was going to be about. And I don't know if that's talked enough. I think it's an interesting topic to dive a little bit more into. Do you think the Eagles players are totally locked in with the coaches this year? I don't know, Adam. Obviously, there's a disconnect there. Obviously, the offense isn't working. The defense isn't working. Obviously, there is something wrong. Whether it's communication, whether it's trust, whether it's all of the above. But it's not working this year, obviously. But I also, just as I wouldn't be shocked if someone else is calling plays on Monday night, I also wouldn't be shocked if the entire coaching staff is retained for next year. Stephen Gilmore is still out there. Wow. Joe Douglas bringing the Jets stink to Philly. You said that yesterday. Yeah. Not bad and good are the same. Jackson has been an okay cover corner and horribly physically. Yeah, look, physicality, I get that. But people are acting like he's the worst cornerback in football. No, guess what? Darius Slay is actually a much worse cornerback this year. I think all things considered, he's done well. You can't have an elite all-pro at every position. Are you nervous about Monday night? Absolutely, I'm nervous. 100% nervous. Good morning, Brianna. How you doing? Maury is still playing 2K. He's always playing 2K. Giannis is too impactful of a player to not lift the Sixers to a contender status. Joel needs to take a settlement. Yeah. Joel, I don't know how NBA injury settlements work, but he's got to. And Giannis, look, great player. One of the greatest of all time. I'm just ready to wait and stick with what we got. I'm riding with the young guys. I feel we can win on Sunday, and if we can't, if not, we could be in deep trouble. Well, it's Monday, just so you know. It's Monday Night Football. Don't sit in your screen on Sunday. See, I even hang in there for you guys when I can't breathe. Look at the dedication I give you guys. I think the settlement is a myth. You have to have at least 2 or 3 medical opinions, and there's still a major cap hit. Yeah. There's a lot to an injury settlement, and you still have to take the cap hit. But I think just having him not hang around saying, maybe I'll play, maybe I won't play, helps this team move forward. Just having him off the roster, Nooms, helps the Sixers move forward. And it breaks my heart saying that. I don't think it has anything to do with being locked in. I just think the teams like the Eagles and the Chiefs have played a lot of football over the last few years. Yeah, absolutely think that's part of it too. I mean, they've had deep runs every year. Absolutely agree with you on that. Roseman has to focus on more O-linemen and draft for depth for our injury-prone starting 5. Absolutely. And I think he wanted to. He just missed this year. I think we have been losing coaches at lower levels for years due to team stealing. Absolutely we have been. We talked about losing Kellen Moore, but we didn't talk about the assistants like TJ Pagnotti and others that left. We didn't talk about, Howie Roseman has lost like 6 executives in the last 12 months, with Dave Caldwell, the latest of them, who left to go to the University of Florida this week. The Nickelodeon game is going. What Nickelodeon game is that? That Thursday? I don't. I don't know. Phil, I hope you feel. I feel fine. I'm just really congested this morning. Not sure why. I thought the Knicks wanted Giannis. The Knicks are the almost. I would put if Giannis gets traded, and I think he does get traded. I would say there's a 90% chance that the Knicks are the team that gets him. They want him. Giannis wants to go there. The Bucks want the win now possible return that they could get for him. Win, like as in games, not titles. That's where it's most likely going to go. Maybe there's a Giannis for LeBron swap. I don't know. I don't know how many teams would even. I think the San Antonio Spurs would be a team. Although I'm not sure how Giannis and Wembanyama would work side by side together. But they have the assets. They have the picks, and they could include like a Dylan Harper in the deal. Fans have to understand that success comes with a price. It absolutely does come with a price. And you know what? I'm willing to pay that price. If you give me a title and then a down year and then another title and then a down year, I'm good with it. I'll accept some down years with the good years that sandwich them. No problem. Too many people just penciling in the Washington and Rams games. Birds needs to catch a few breaks. Oh, Raiders game. Is the Raiders game you talking about? The Eagles need to catch some breaks. Maybe it's time that the ball starts bouncing our way a little bit. 27-24 Lions win tonight? Sure. I can get behind that. I'm going to go a little higher scoring. I'm going to go 35-31. Lions win tonight. Well, it's contracts. It's win now players. Whether they're really good players or not, they're still on paper in theory. I think they would want Cat and Bridges, but Bridges can't be traded till right around the deadline because of his extension he signed. So they would have to wait. So OG would be if you want to get the deal done right now, but it would be Cat and OG. Now Cat and Bridges down the line. Tell that to this fan base that expects greatness every year. Look, I get it. I want greatness every year, but I'm realistic to understand that it's not always possible. I'm willing to understand that you got to take the good with the bad. It's hard. But I understand why the fan base struggles with accepting that. That's just the way it is. We want our teams to win every year. And that's okay to feel that way. It's okay to want the Eagles. It's okay to be disappointed that they're not playing like last year. Would you take an Eagles and a Cowboys loss this week? I mean, it would help. If the Eagles are going to lose, the Cowboys lose, it would help. If the Cowboys lose tonight, it would help a lot more going into this week. This is another odd year where the Eagles have struggled. So unless fate changes, not expect the Eagles to get to the Super Bowl, 26 more hopeful. Look, I'm not even thinking about the Super Bowl right now with the Eagles. Yes, I'm thinking the Eagles still make the playoffs. But outside of that, when it comes to Eagles, I'm just thinking about Monday night and the Chargers. I'm done thinking big picture. I'm thinking, what can this team do to get right this week? How can we figure out this offense? How can we figure out the run game on defense? I mean, you hear Vic Fangio talk yesterday. Jalen Carter has not been good this year. Vic Fangio mentioned again yesterday that Jalen Carter has another shoulder ailment. We talk about how the offensive line's been banged up all year. The Cam Jurgens, Landon Dickerson, Lane Johnson, all these guys are just not healthy, and how it's affecting the Eagles' offense. Well, Jalen Carter was hurt in training camp. He was hurt the first couple weeks of the year. He kind of played through it, and now he's hurt again, and we're giving up 280 rushing yards to the Bears. Jalen Carter has not been healthy this entire season, and it's affected the Eagles' defense massively. There's a lot of things holding this team back. So all I'm focused on is how can we win this week. What about Carter's shoulder? It's a problem. Did I say something not shoulder? Because I thought I said shoulder. I think I got the troublemaker finally. I'm just looking for a way to win today or this week. I'm just trying to focus in 1 week at a time with the Eagles. We need a 1-2 punch on running the ball. Well, they have that second punch, okay? But for some reason, they refuse to utilize it. And this is not, I don't want people to think that I'm not freaking out that Tank Robinson or Tank Bigsby is this great running back. I just understand he could do something, right? He could provide an alternative. He has shown he could do it. And this is the things like the 1-2 running attack, the usage of, say, Tank Bigsby, is one of the weird things. Not using your backup running back shouldn't confuse or make me feel this way. But not using our backup running back is one of the biggest reasons why I have no faith in Kevin Patullo. Because there's something that works and he's not using it. Football is a game of attrition. We've played a lot of football. Again, success comes with a price. Absolutely. Davis's snaps, no vanilla, gorilla, take your pick. Look, the fact that Ty Robinson not playing any snaps, not even dressing on game day most weeks, it breaks my heart. I think we personally all overvalued him because of his cool nickname. He's a 4th-round defensive tackle. 4th, 5th round? The fact that I don't even know if he's got 10 snaps this entire season. I don't know. But it was another swing and miss from Howie Roseman. Mac McWilliams, swing and miss. I guess in theory, Jahan Campbell, swing and miss. Everyone was pointing at a certain person, but is there some other diva stuff going on behind the scenes? Well, what diva stuff do you think could be going on behind the scenes? I need an explanation on that. Because I don't know. I guess the diva stuff with A.J. Brown could be a problem. But defense and offense stay separate. Defensively, we've had 2 players retire weeks after joining the Eagles. Actually, Jair Alexander wasn't even a full week. What kind of drama could there be going on behind the scenes that's causing the defense to have a problem? What's up, Jess? Good morning to you. I heard Nick Foles talking about bringing in Frank Reich as a consultant. What do you think? I think there should be a consultant that's here right now. I actually think that there's a small chance that Kevin Patullo has been already told he's not calling plays. Not going to put it at 100%, 50, I think 25, 30%. Some of the little things I heard Nick Sirianni say. But if you're not taking play calling away from him, you've got to get somebody in here during the week to help him out. Help him to game plan. Help him to look for things to make adjustments with. He's got to be here. Or somebody else. I just, if it's not Frank Reich, it's got to be somebody. Kevin Patullo is in over his head on things like just using Tank Bigsby. Something like getting Dallas Goedert the ball in a way other than that play action pass for 4 yards. I know Dallas Goedert has all these touchdowns, but Dallas Goedert's got like 2 catches or less each of the last 3 games. Somebody to tell him, you've got to run a hitch route sometimes. You got to run play action under center occasionally. You got to put some motion out there, even occasionally. I ran over these numbers yesterday, Jess. Fifth fewest pre-snap motions, the Eagles. 2nd fewest play actions under center. The lowest crossing rate rate in the NFL. They must have saw something in the locker room and retired. Exactly. So what is it that they're seeing? It really, I need an ESPN 30 for 30 on the retirements of Jair Alexander and Darius Slay so badly. Ty Robinson's a 4th-round pick who should be getting rotational snaps. 4th-rounders are expected to play, absolutely. But he's not. Why? Was it development? Did we overhype him? Was it a Howie miss? You've got injured guys. You've got banged up guys, and you can't get them on the field. It's not like Byron Young's that special. Big Ben was talking about Mike Tomlin taking over at Penn State. There's drama all around right now. Dude, nobody wants the Penn State job. Like, just think about that. It makes me laugh. Nobody wants that Penn State job. Nobody. And I love it. Once I decide to not give a shit about Penn State anymore, Penn State is so much funnier than they are entertaining. Dan Campbell is definitely trying to pivot. Not going great so far. At least Dan Campbell tried something, right? Dan Campbell took play calling duties away. He gave them to himself, and that's not working, but it is what it is. At least they tried something in Detroit. Patullo's been over his head since the beginning of the season. He has been. And I was against a consultant in week 3. But we're in week 14 now. And it's not getting better. In fact, it's getting worse. So you got to get him help. You've got to. Been calling for Patullo to get mentored. Yeah, I know you have been. And I probably told you no. Because it was too soon to panic. But you know what? You're right. They have used Dallas Goedert as a decoy a lot this year, and also as a third and fourth read. They have. He's also been very bad at blocking this year. He is the 117th ranked tight end in run blocking. Just so you know. They're a defensive player. What are they seeing in the defensive locker room? Scare them off? I don't know. I wish I knew. But they didn't. But then didn't Alexander say he was coming back? What happened with that? He needed to go out and get healthy mentally and physically. I just don't think he wanted to be here. Brandon Graham needs to retire again. Exactly. The Eagles have been scrambling and just trying to throw shit at the wall to see what sticks. Bringing Brandon Graham back out of retirement, there's a reason why he was retired. Clearly. We got all excited for his return, including me. I won't lie. But let's be honest. He didn't want to retire. He didn't want to play anywhere else. And Howie said, nah, we're good. We don't need you. And then Howie's like, I guess we need you. Maybe this will help. I don't think someone put voodoo on Penn State. Someone did something in Penn State. We all know that Fangio isn't easy to be coached by, so I wonder if these guys were on the edge of retiring. I mean, it could be. You had Jared Alexander had a connection to Christian Parker, our defensive backs coach. So at least he had an understanding of that. Darius Smith, I think there was a connection with Vic Fangio and Darius. There was a Darius Smith connection. Maybe it was Vic Fangio. I don't know who. But look, it's not like Vic Fangio is some unknown commodity. People know what they're getting involved with when they come play for Vic Fangio. At least Jared Alexander was a trade. He didn't agree to that. But Darius Smith came out of retirement too for that. So he knew. There are times where people allege Dallas Goedert is open, but the pocket is blocked for a completely different. Yeah. Look, some of that stuff with Dallas Goedert, like everyone loves that Devontae Smith play. Oh, look, Dallas Goedert would have been wide open for a touchdown. He would have never gotten the ball to Dallas Goedert. Nobody would have. The blocking wasn't there, and by the time Dallas Goedert got open, he had already thrown the ball. So, yeah, I get that. But I'm just bringing up the point that the only time you have to worry about Dallas Goedert getting the ball is when it's in that little play action, breaks out for 4 yards for a first down. Because outside of that, we don't throw the ball to him because our offense is so predictable. You know exactly what the team is going to do on every single play. Alexander wouldn't have gotten quarterback to start, and we just needed a vet in that room. Yeah, maybe he wanted to play and was told, yo, we're sticking with Adoree Jackson. Because again, guess what? Adoree Jackson's not been that bad. He actually has not. He's not been great, but he's not been that bad. But again, there's something wrong in that. We spend so much time talking about the Eagles' offense and the struggles of the offense, but no one ever wants to talk about the defensive struggles. Outside of Quinion Mitchell, outside of that elite cornerback, Q, the Eagles' defense has been dog trash this year. And no one wants to admit it. Everyone says, well, it's the offense's fault. No, it's not the offense's fault. The offense is a part of it, but it's not their fault. The defense has just been shit this year. Moore and Steichen use Goddard a lot in the crossing and slants. Yeah, used. You got to put a D because they don't use him anymore. By the way, on Dallas Goddard, we've all assumed that Dallas Goddard will be gone after this year. He's a free agent at the end of the year. He was last year. We had to really fight to bring him back. Mark Andrews just signed a huge contract extension with the Ravens. 3 years. I think it was like 48, 50, just under $50 million for an older tight end in Mark Andrews. Arguably one of the best in football still. Their backup, Isaiah Lively, is a free agent as well. The price to retain Dallas Goddard went way up. But Dallas Goddard's not doing anything special this year. Does Dallas Goddard get brought back to Philly after this year? I don't know. It's interesting. No one wants Dallas? Well, I do. Hurts needs to go through his progressions and see other people open before he runs or throws it away. And I think this is it's a lazy comment. Because, again, like I've said countless times on the show, Adam, you want him to go through his progressions. If he does that and then he takes a sack, then people complain he holds on to the football too long. There's a fine line between holding on to the ball too long and going through your progressions or getting rid of it and taking off. If you don't have faith in your offensive line, you're not going to sit back there and get crushed just to appease the fans that I went to my fourth read. The Eagles' offensive line can't hold up long enough for him to get to his third, fourth read. We don't want turnovers. We don't want sacks. Well, he's got to go through the first two progressions and then move on. Yeah, I mean, so would I. Is it Likely or Lively? I don't even know his name. Anyway, we're thinking the same person. But anyway, I don't know what the Eagles should do at tight end. Goddard comes back if the price is right. They will do the same thing as they did last season, let him look for a team, and then when there's no interest, bring him back. Yeah, that's probably it. It's probably what happens. Obviously, there's a risk you do lose him because maybe somebody else swoops him up a little, or maybe Dallas just wants a fresh start somewhere else. Maybe he knows what's wrong in this locker room and wants out. The Eagles' offense could look majorly different next year. It really could. What's up, Mr. Steven Fuentes? How you doing today? What did you think about Devontae and Jalen's sideline interaction? I thought it was interesting. Devontae said that's not what we discussed when talking about the hand signals. Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, the first thing I thought, Steve, was, look, there is communication because everybody just thinks, Jalen Hurts just sits on the sideline with this sourpuss look on his face, his lip curled up on the bottom, like a pouty child. Everyone thinks that's all he does. But it was great to see him walking up and down the sideline, interacting, communicating, leading, taking accountability. Yeah, and they went back and forth. I thought you were doing this. You thought I was doing this. This is what I said. And Jalen said, yeah, got it. What I think is it was a mistake. Jalen made the mistake. Jalen admitted to making the mistake and said, let's get it right next time. So if anything, it just shows how great of a leader Jalen Hurts is. Whether it's Hurts' fault or Smith's fault, it is what it is. But the fact that they communicate on the sideline, we shouldn't be shocked, but that's not what we're told that they don't do. So it's good. I actually took more from him on the tush-push comments. I don't know what the FI did here. That's all on me. The way he talked about the tush-push fumble almost made it seem like he doesn't want to do the tush-push anymore. But also, it was good to see that as well. He doesn't just take accountability in the press conferences. He takes accountability on the sideline as well. Would you rather have Goddard or Ferguson? Well, Ferguson's younger. I guess Ferguson. The defense overachieved in the first half of the season. Everyone expected it to be a slow start. The opposite happened. They overachieved, but they still weren't good. Statistically speaking, they weren't that great in the first half of the season. They were still a middle of the pack at best defense. It is so cold right now. My feet are freezing. Adam is right in that Hurts has happy feet in the pocket when the blocking is there. It is an issue. I see it differently. I see it where he can't win. Holds it too long? Why are you taking that sack? Gets rid of it too quickly? Why aren't you? How many other times do you think there's been those kind of miscommunications this season between players that has made KP look? Honestly, Steve, I've been talking about communication and issues with communication since preseason. Is it all on Kevin Patullo? No. Kevin Patullo's communication, though, is probably part of it as well. Talked about it in the preseason on this show, how they had a bunch of delayed games and it looked like plays were getting in slowly. But I'm sure there's miscommunications between wide receivers and quarterbacks all the time. It happens. There's a lot of guessing that goes on. And that goes back to practice. Communication in the game between Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith. That goes back to the practice and what's getting done at practice. Is it on Kevin Patullo? Maybe not all. But it's got to be better. Of course it's cold. It's December. Exactly. And everybody bitches and moans when it's hot out. And then we get cold and everyone bitches and moans about that. Winning is the great deodorant. Just win, baby. You know, I forget who it was. Some radio guy or TV guy in Philly, Rick, said, what would you rather see this week? You know, the Eagles offense get out of their funk or this or that. I forget what all the options were. And none of the options were just win. And I responded, all I care about is winning on Monday. Winning is the great equalizer. Just go out and win. Just win. That should all be that matters right now. Who leads the league in fourth down stops? I'm assuming based off of your question, you're going to say the Eagles. Because I said the defense hasn't been great. Great that they lead the league in fourth down stops. Awesome. What's that get you? I don't know. I'm just asking, you know. Does that stat change the fact that the Eagles defense hasn't performed well? I don't know. Anyway, guys, it's well past the top of the hour. Trend the AM if you haven't yet. I know we're at least 17 likes. Like, subscribe, share, vote on the poll question. Only 21 votes today so far. Should the Sixers make a trade for Giannis Antetokounmpo, who has become available from the Milwaukee Bucks? 57% said yes. 43% of you have said no so far. I'm still very, very, very set on the no for Giannis, but I continue voting, liking, sharing, doing all the things that you guys do to help grow this channel. 902 subscribers to start the day. How high will we go today? I don't know. Maybe I can gain a couple more with all the great content. Still 17 today on the likes, but yes, that's where we're at today. Reset, yeah, we reset sometimes. That's what we do. We play the reset game, the hard reset, the refresh. Someday we'll have segues again. I missed the reset though. What about Al Davis? What? I don't know what you're talking about with Al Davis right there. Not sure where that comes into it. Anyway, we're talking crossroads because that's what these teams are all in, a crossroads. What's it say? Yeah, we've got some new shows, some pre-recorded, along with the Eagles check down that I've been posting. We got the Phillies hit and run, which I've done one episode. I'm working on another one. The Sixers full court press. That's my Sixers show. Some pre-recorded things. It gets you turnovers and opportunities. Al Davis does. Look, yeah, get off the field on fourth down is important. I get it. But the Eagles defense still has not been that great. The Eagles defense keeps getting us pass, and it's kind of crazy to me. Look, the Eagles offense has been awful. We know that. Where is it? Average yards needed for a first down on third down. Eagles are second worst in football. Only 0.1 yards ahead of the Browns, who are the worst. The Eagles are 7.8 yards to go on third down. Browns 7.9 yards. I know the Eagles offense has hurt the defense. But the defense still can make a play occasionally. The defense can get off the field early in the game. Carson Wentz happy feet. Yeah. Jalen Hurts doesn't have Carson Wentz happy feet yet. Carson Wentz's happy feet still come down to the concussion issues and the injury issues for sure. Phil, when is your pre-recorded Union video? I saw you live tweeting during the match a few Sundays ago. Hey, I tried. I tried to put a little effort into the Union. Unfortunately, the Union fell short. Unfortunately, I will not be doing a regularly scheduled Union show. That is out of my realm of expertise. But, yeah, I watched a little Union. People don't think I don't watch Union or Flyers because I don't talk about them. When I watch the Union when they're on, and I watch the Flyers when I've got time. Absolutely, I do. I support all the only I don't watch the Water Dogs, but outside of that, I watch everybody. When I'm waiting for Steve, all this free time I got with no employment, I'm waiting for golf season to get started. I'm ready to be breaking down the PGA Tour. You're going to get more than one episode of Fairway to Heaven every single week now. Got to. We're going to do Fairway to Heaven on Tuesday nights still, me and Jason, and whenever you feel like popping in. But I'm going to do other golf content because why not? I can't wait to do more golf content. Got to get this subscriber number up more. Got to. Anyway. Sixers, crossroads. Phillies are at a crossroads. The Phillies are in a weird crossroads too right now. We've been talking about the Eagles and the Sixers a lot today. You got the winter meetings coming up this weekend into next week. Kyle Schwarber and JT Realmuto. We may have our answer on those two guys within the next 5, 6, 7 weeks or 5, 6, 7 days. Will the Phillies be turning a page? Will Alec Boehm or Brandon Marsh or any of these guys get traded? The next week will determine the course of the next 2 or 3 years for this Philadelphia Phillies team. It's a major crossroads for Dave Dombrowski. The Stiefel Golf Hour. It doesn't really have the ring that I think you think it does. To assert they have been bad all year is the worst take I've ever heard. They got out-muscled the last few weeks. Total recency bias. All right, well, I mean, I write down where they're ranked every single week. Okay? Statistically speaking, yards per game, points per game haven't been awful, but not great. They've been giving up running attack all year. They've been soft in the middle since the first game of the year. Yeah, excuse Jalen Carter was hurt. All right, so, okay. All right, so they're not dominant. Okay, that's fine. Maybe my expectations were too high for the Eagles defense. Maybe me wanting the Eagles defense to be a top 10 defense was too much. All right, so being 15th, 16th, 17th ranked defense doesn't mean bad, just not dominant. All right, let me rephrase it. The Eagles defense has been very average and mediocre all year long. Does that make you feel better? Because that's what it is. They've been an average defense at best, and the last couple of weeks really atrocious. Plain and simple. Soccer, the most exciting sport in the world if you exclude football, baseball, basketball, hockey, tennis, boxing, UFC, volleyball, rugby, ping pong, wrestling, lacrosse. Problem with all that is, first off, let's not knock tennis. Boxing, what's with the dude not paying his fees and getting his title stripped? That was an interesting story. Rugby and lacrosse, I know nothing about. Just so you know. I think once Ranger gets signed, the rest of the chips will fall where they will for the Phillies. There's reports that the Phillies do still have some interest in Ranger, but they're going to lose out on him because he is going to get massively overpaid. The Golden Tee Golf Show. There's probably some copyrights on that one. The offense has not been 4 full quarters of any game this season. That is correct. Absolutely. Carter being hurt has had a major impact on the defense. It has. It 100% has. So why don't we sit? Why hasn't he been sat once or twice to get right? All my age and all my responsibilities, it's hard to watch sports seasons over 80 games long. That's why I'm grateful for condensed games, yeah? It is tough, man. JT has to be priority number 1, and I think that priority gets dealt with either in a good way or a bad way, Rick. I would expect by Wednesday next week, we will know on JT and we will know on Schwarber. At least one, maybe both. I really do. I really do. Again, I really hate going past 2 years on JT. Maybe 3, but I find it hard to imagine there won't be a team out there that won't offer him a 4-year contract. I don't know the answer to this question, Rick. There's got to be a young, rising team with a lot of young potential and they're in their starting rotation that would just die for a catcher of JT's experience level to help mold their young pitchers, right? And I don't know who that is. I don't know which team I'm describing. Maybe you guys who watch more outside Phillies baseball would know this. There's got to be a team with a young rotation that just be like, JT's got to be it. That's a lot for an older catcher, man. He's been breaking down a little bit the last couple years. It's really hard for me to get behind. We're just loaded with way too many old players or players that will be old at the end of their contracts. And maybe you give them 4 years and maybe the first year is not bad, but by year 3, that's going to be one of those, what did we do that for, or contracts? If they re-sign Ranger, this offense is still up Schitt's Creek without a paddle. Absolutely agree. JT has Dombrowski's bent over and spread with a vice. I mean, he might, honestly, because there aren't many great options to replace him. But again, will Dave break the bank for JT? It's a tough. I would not want to have to be the one that's JT's got bent over like that. Phillies understand more than any other team how important JT is. I don't know. I think a lot of teams realize how important he is. That's why he's regarded as one of the best catchers in baseball. Okay? And he's gotten banged up a little bit more. Let the other old heads go. Bye-bye, Kyle. Get out of here. Well, Casty, I don't even think there's an argument or a discussion to be had. He is going to be gone. Whether we get a trade for him or just cut him, at some point before reporting to Clearwater, Castellanos, I bet the mortgage on it. He is not going to be here. It's just a matter of they're holding on as long as they can, hoping a team trades for him. That's all it is with Casty. Let Kyle go, sure, I guess. That's fine. You still got Trey with a long contract. You still got Harper with a long contract. You still got Nola with a long contract. JT loves it here. We have that on our side. He does. His family lives. You know, some of these guys keep their families where they're from, but no. JT moved his family here. They live here. They love the area. Very close with Zach Wheeler and Bryce Harper. In that there's that circle of friends there. I get that. We should have the advantage of getting him. It's can they come to terms on the years? I don't even think it's a dollars and cents thing. I think it's a years thing when it comes to JT Realmuto. I don't think Hurts is afraid to get hit in the pocket. I think Sirianni offense doesn't work anymore. Back to the Eagles with the offense. And again, every time we criticize Kevin Patullo, we got to ask ourselves how much of it is Kevin Patullo and how much of it is Nick Sirianni. We got dangerously close this week to asking whether Nick Sirianni's job was on the line. I really think. And there's an argument to be made that he might be going down the same route that Doug Peterson went down. Sign Bellinger and Tucker, call up Crawford, got to revamp the outfield. I'd be shocked if they were able to financially sign Bellinger and Tucker. Dave Dombrowski was very open saying that the payroll isn't going to go up much, if at all, from last year, dollar-wise. So I don't think they'd be able to sign both. Obviously, you know, Rick, from my statements over the last 2-3 years, I've wanted Tucker on this team for so long. Was it 2 deadlines ago that he first got traded? So you know I want Tucker more than anything. Bellinger would be a consolation prize for me. Crawford 1,000% should be starting day one every game for the Phillies this upcoming season. Now, whether they move on from Marsh or keep Marsh, that's still to be determined. I think there would be some form of a trade market for Marsh. But an outfield of Crawford, Marsh, and either Tucker or Bellinger, I'm good with that. You still got to fix the infield. Bomer Stott need upgraded. You got to replace Schwarber if you lose him. We'll see. Sirianni's playbook has never really it never worked, right? Never worked. Exception being later 2010s Phils have almost always had a good catcher the last 35 years. Yeah, I mean, maybe even longer than that, right? So the Phillies organization has always understood the need for catching. Should we seriously ask ourselves, is it an OC problem or a quarterback problem? You can ask all the questions. And I know you asked this question because you want Tanner McKee to have a shot. What's different from this year and last year, Rick? The OC, not the quarterback. I'm willing to bank on my Super Bowl MVP quarterback than a first-time play caller that's been in the NFL for almost 20 years and never been given this opportunity. My opinion on Kevin Patullo is eerily similar to Rob Thompson, the fact that he might be a great passing game coordinator. He might be a great quarterback coach, an offensive assistant, but he's not a play caller. Just like Rob Thompson was always a great bench coach and a very mediocre manager. Well, you know Sirianni is partly to blame because he can't call plays worth a damn. So it's not like he can take over those duties. And that's the problem. Like Dan Campbell took over play calling in Detroit. But he didn't give him up first and then take him back. So Sirianni's already given up play calling duties because we know he stinks at it. Detroit's learning Dan Campbell stinks at it, but that's another topic. The problem is we don't have anywhere to go other than if you want to go to Scott Loeffler, your quarterback coach who called plays in college. I guess Parks Frazier, is he your quarterback? No, he's not your quarterback. He's your passing game coordinator. Maybe Parks Frazier could do it. I don't know. New over-under. How many I get that do we get from Phil every show? Do I say it that much? I mean, I get what you're saying. Do you want me to use a different phrase? Also, this suggests firing Sirianni a year off the Super Bowl is insane. Yeah, he's giving us fits now. Oh, I agree. I'm not saying I'm going to fire him or I wouldn't want to fire him. Hell, I didn't want to fire him week 4 last year when everyone else did. Difference between this year and last year is we had a 2,000-yard rusher that took almost all the pressure off of Hurts and an offensive line. And Hurts has passed the ball plenty in the years before that. Don't forget Hurts was only asked to be a game manager last year because that's all they needed because of the running back. But when called upon, he is still more than a game manager. It is an everybody problem. I mean, all the problems with the Phillies, the Eagles, the Sixers, there's not one team in Philadelphia right now that has one key problem that we can zone in. This, fix this, and it solves everything. The problems with all our teams right now are so wide ranging. There's no pointing fingers exactly on what it is. Exactly. When Hurts is all that's needed to be a game manager, it works. I mean, Hurts was not just a game manager in 22. Before he got hurt late in the season, he was the front runner. No, actually, no. In 2023, he was the front runner too. 2022, he was like 3rd or 4th in MVP voting most of the year. In 23, he was the favorite through 12 weeks to win the MVP. Why? Because he can throw. He's not just a game manager. You just have this extreme dislike for Jalen Hurts. You just want Tanner McKee. You just want to be right. You were wrong on the Phillies, so you just want to be right on Jalen Hurts and Tanner McKee. That's all it is. Dombrowski should sign Schwarber and then focus on pitching, and then trade for catcher like Braves Sean Murphy. Or the Orioles, oddly, Rutschman. I've heard a bunch of people mention him. I haven't heard anybody mention Sean Murphy yet. So I haven't done any research there. The Rutschman, it's going to be an expensive trade, right, to get him. Okay, but yeah, Tatsuya, I think these are some of your options if you lose out on JT. But again, they're going to involve trades, and what are you going to part with? You know, the trade with the Orioles is going to cost you a top prospect, right? From everything I understand. 22 again, great defense. Great. So every time A quarterback's got a great defense and a running game. All right. I don't dislike Hurts, but I also don't see things with blinders. Well, you see things with blinders. Your Phillies comments all year long were with blinders on beyond belief. Parallel lines. Well, we're on a parallel line here. And how did that work out for you? So you have just as much. Every sports fan has blinders on with their opinions. I do. I don't lie that I have blinders on with Hurts. I say it all the time that I've got blinders on. Hurts needs a lot of support around him to be great. And then Josh Allen isn't great because he doesn't have enough support. Lamar Jackson doesn't reach his pinnacle because he doesn't have a lot of help around him. So when elite quarterbacks don't, Justin Herbert, we're playing this week. The only reason why Justin Herbert hasn't won yet is because his team stinks around him. So what is it? Do you need talent around you to win, or do you not need? When's the last time a quarterback single-handedly put their team on their back? Okay? Without any talent and won. Orioles would want Painter for Adley, and Orioles are absolutely insane. That's what I've been reading. So, yeah. My Phillies comments all year were to try to inject positivity. Now, you're blind to the fact that the Phillies were never, there was never a reason to believe the Phillies were going to win. Okay? I don't have a negative stance. I have a realistic stance. Yeah, the Eagles and Phillies are on a parallel line, except the Eagles are on the parallel line with the Phillies. Yeah, sorry, Rick. This is the winner right here. This is the winner right here. This is the winner right here. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Phil, in your opinion, will Hurts himself carry this team to a Super Bowl victory? He carried them to a Super Bowl victory last year. He made every play necessary last year. Like, did he not just win the Super Bowl MVP for literally putting the team on his back? Brady didn't have that is true. Tom Brady is the answer to the question, Doc. And Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback of all time. I've never put Hurts in that category. Good, you could say it. And maybe now I just realize that you don't actually believe what you say. You just say nonsense to say it. I want the Phillies to win more than anybody. I'm also realistic about it. I also am willing to admit I put blinders on. Maybe you should admit that you have blinders on. Fans don't respect how competitive the NFL is. They think you could just throw Tanner out there and the offense works against a playoff team. Yeah, exactly. And without the coach in the other team's locker room. Hurts didn't carry the team last year. He was a game manager. Josh Sweat. Look, Jalen Hurts' stats were phenomenal in the Super Bowl. All right, plain and simple. I don't think the Phillies need to retool well in the offseason, and I think they could get to. I think the Phillies need to retool. Why did I say don't need to retool? Offseason, I think they could get to a World Series. I don't know. Maybe they can. It's too soon to tell. Anybody that thinks the Phillies will win the World Series next year before free agency's begun for them is just lying. Dude, I'm sorry, Duck. You win, man. I'm so glad that you won all those raffle prizes because after this comment, you deserve it. You deserve it. Plain and simple. Anyway, what do we got here? It's almost the top. It's almost 9:30, guys. What do we got going on here today? Obviously, we'll get our first Eagles practice, okay? Well, we'll learn a little bit about some of these injured Eagles players and who's playing, who's not. We'll hear from coaches and players today as well. They did. The defense played great. But guess what? The Eagles offense scored too, and scored a lot. I guess the Eagles offense didn't put up 40 points in that game. Guess not. I guess Jalen Hurts did throw a perfect strike to Devontae Smith for a dagger. I'm not negative. You're the negative one. You just don't understand that you're the negative one. You're absolutely the negative one. And on that note, I'm closing my binder for the day. Oh, man. What a show. What another day. What another dollar. Well, no dollars because I'm still not at 1,000. Let's see what today's show's numbers look like. Let's see. Right now, still only 17 likes. No new subscribers. Great. Fantastic. Oh, man. I am definitely not. And you are completely so off base. They lose Schwarber. There's almost no chance they win a World Series. I don't know. Completely no appreciation, Sandman. It's 2K for all. Yeah, look, guys, it is what it is. Me and Rick will never see eye to eye. I can't help it. I guess I'm just a negative Nancy, plain and simple. But anyway, we're going to wrap this baby up today, guys. All right? We'll be back tomorrow, another episode. What tomorrow will bring? Who knows? Who knows? Poll results. Yes, 54% would bring Giannis to the Sixers. 46% would not. I'm still definitely on the would not, but that's just me. Thank you, Tatsuya, for tuning in. I appreciate you. Same dude that would have rather the Phillies lose in the playoffs so I wouldn't be right. Did not. I said, hold on a second. I was going to end the show. Are you saying I did not say on this show like 4,000 times, I hope I am wrong and I could come on this show and say you're right? Because guess what? I did say that 100 times. I hope I'm wrong. Said it every day. I hope I'm wrong. Then I followed it up with, but I know I'm not going to be. Cassidy versus Easy to Black. What? Who? Who's that? Who that? Who's Easy to block? I don't know what that is. Yeah, that hurt out. Anyway, I don't know who Cassidy is or who Easy to Block Captain is. I want to find out before I end the show, but you only got like a second. Then I'm dipping here. Anyway, tomorrow we'll talk about the Eagles practice today. More Eagles talk, more Phillies talk, more Sixers talk. I think the Sixers play tonight. No, today's Thursday, right? Yeah, the Sixers play. I love it when a plan comes together, Rick. I love it when a plan comes together. Anyway, we're going to wrap this baby up. Everybody have a great day. We'll talk tomorrow. Keep an eye out for other live videos and pre-recorded videos on the channel, guys. Yeah, I am not negative. I don't even know what he's doing to himself these days. It's been far too long. Guys, have a great day. As always, it's Go Birds. It's Bubbles Up.